reporting on the games you love by people who love to game. The MMO Reporter Network.
You're logging into your favorite game, grinding out some gear. A couple of points added to your stats, and you have a virtual beer. Max level is pretty cool, but I'll remind you here, my friend. These games are not about the goal, it's about the journey and not the end.
You're listening to MMO Reporter on the MMO Reporter Network, brought to you by Doghouse Systems. Choose your weapons with Doghouse Systems. Audible, find your next great read at audibletrial.com/MMO Reporter, and by GoDaddy. Put your website to work while you play.
Don't forget about your ults you need to cherish. Each and every little character you've got, no matter what level they're at. Don't forget about your ults you need.
Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of MMO Reporter. This is episode 194. I'm Chris, and I am joined by the wonderful, the expressive, the from far away-ish, Mr. Harry Hall. Hello, Harry.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing okay. And of course, the master of all things, Bill, at MMO Bill himself. Hi, Bill.
Pay your bills. Yep, that's me.
Yeah. All right, let's move on from that awkward moment before it gets awkward.
Let's split the bill.
That didn't make it better, Harry. Sorry.
No, I know.
No, it didn't. All right, we've got some stuff to talk about. Leonor's away this week, so hopefully he'll be back with us next week. But let's move right along. I will say, first of all, meow, and we are done with that. There will be no more. No more. That's it. Anyways, Bill, what have you done in game this week?
See, when you say it like that, Chris, it just becomes a challenge.
There will be no more from me.
Oh, I see. Oh,
You can do whatever the heck you want, but
So really, the challenge is to get you to say it.
Correct.
Okay.
Wait, we can't say hell now? We have to say heck? Is this will we lose our clean tag and we say hell?
You have to say heck. I'm going to say hell till the cows come home.
Well, hell no. Anyways, moving along. Yeah. Bill.
Moving along.
Please move along.
All right, so probably the biggest issue I had to deal with was a lot of difficulty with ED this week. That's Elite Dangerous, of course, because I don't know what you guys were thinking, but
experienced pilots.
Welcome to the new Man Show here, where we talk all about man's issues. Bill, why don't you start? You're talking about your ED.
I'm probably missing a joke here as a non-English speaker. What the hell is ED then? Okay, for us Dutch guys over here.
Bill, do you want to say it or do you want me to say it?
Let's just say, yeah. I have a sneaky feeling Harry actually knows, but he's
Harry, do you actually know, and are you actually just pulling our very long leg?
I'm wikiing it as we speak. I'm seeing eating disorder, ecstasy dosage, effective dose, emergency department, emotional disorder, encephalitis, endocrine disruptor, erectile dysfunction.
Ding, 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 ding,
we have a winner! Ding, ding, ding. I honestly had to wiki this.
Oh my! You must not get the same. I guess you don't get the same Viagrads over there that you get.
I guess I don't need it. I never had to actually look up the abbreviation for it.
Ooh, the joys of being on an international podcast, folks, right here.
Anyway, where I was going.
Oh, and the final one, explosive diarrhea.
That's not what I was
Ding,
going
ding, ding. We have a wait. Hold on. Nobody wins with that.
Having a lot of difficulty with Elite Dangerous. I'm forcing myself. I actually have bought a flight stick, so I'm committed now to playing the flying portion of Elite Dangerous the correct way. So in the interim, I'm forcing myself not to keyboard and mouse it. I've actually got my Xbox 360 controller, and I'm playing it the hard way, and it's difficult. I have to say that I'm not very popular in most of the space stations out there because I tend to wreck their crap a lot.
Have you been hitting things?
I've been hitting a lot of things. In fact, that's my best combat move, is to just kind of run into things.
You've gotten to combat?
I'm that kid on the field that doesn't like punch or kick. I just drop my head and charge.
I can help you quite easily with the landing bit, which is tricky if you. It's mostly tricky if you're not completely familiar with the keys, because you need a couple of things that help you. First, you have to fly into a station or go to the landing pad, and that's a little that you just fly carefully.
Yep, and I do not too bad with that. The 360 controller is actually okay for that type of flying.
Okay, the next thing is, if I'm assuming you've located your landing pad, which would be inside the rotating thing. You see, let's say it's landing pad number 1. Then you lower down by pressing the F key a couple of times. Very slowly, you descend straight down until you're around about level with the number of the pad. Then you go forward slowly, and every time you notice that you move too fast, you press the X key, which stops you dead. And that helps, because if you don't press X, you keep floating and drifting. Next big advice, don't turn, but use your strafe buttons, the Q and the E. So once you're at the correct altitude and the little landing radar pops in, you can just ease over the landing pad and move left and right and forward and backwards with the thrusters. And once you hear the little dinging sound that you're dead center, press F and slowly descend. And it takes a little practice, but you will go from, oh my God, I'm crashing, to, okay, I got this, if you just take it slowly.
Yeah. I think the secret is that there's no functional equivalent of the X key on the 360 pad, like nothing for that all stop function. So you
can map your keys, but you can also sit next to your keyboard and press X. I mean, that's an option.
The keyboard is so far away, though. Yeah, it's like all the way of a full reach almost.
And Bill, I've been playing with a joystick as well, with a flight stick, and I have my left hand goes on the keyboard. And I use all the keyboard shortcuts as well as the flight stick. So it's not an either or, it's a combination thing.
Yes.
See, that's funny, actually. What I've been reading online is that the combination a lot of people like, if you don't have the full HOTAS set up, is to actually have your flight stick on the left and use your mouse as the secondary controller on the right, so that you can use the mouse wheel as the throttle.
That's interesting.
A lot of people have said that that's the closest thing you can have without actually having another throttle stick.
That's really interesting.
So that's going to be my attempt. I can't remember if I said right off the top. I've ordered a Thrustmaster 15,000M that's I'm patiently waiting for after many hours of painstaking research into flight sticks. That's far more difficult a research job than it really should be. In fact, I'll probably put a little link in the show notes to it, because I'm hoping someone else will find what I found when I was
Which
hunting
joystick
for flight
did you
sticks.
order?
It's the 15,000M.
15,000M. You said
Yeah.
1,500 a minute ago.
I would never say 15,000 or 1,500.
I don't see it on Amazon.
No, of course you don't, because I spelled it wrong. It's not a 15,000M. It's something else.
I did find a very cheap Thrustmaster T-Flight HOTAS flight simulator joystick
I was looking
for $40.
at that one too, and
I
that's
looked
cheap.
at that, and everything I read about that said it was not ideal.
But it's better than just
But
mouse
it's-
keyboard. I'm actually tempted to do this.
Well,
I'm not going to
for the
spend
price-
$200 for.
Yeah, for the
Yeah.
price, it's probably the thing. But all the reviews I said that it's very cheap plastic. The stick is not very sensitive or anything like that. Pardon me, I don't know why I said 15,000 like an animal. It's a T16,000M.
I found
missed
it,
by
yeah.
a whole 1,000.
See, I think about that Thrustmaster, the T-Flight HOTAS X flight stick, and put it right in front of you, right, and you could play, but then you'd have to use everything on that joystick, and maybe have my G13 right beside, and that could be that'd That's a thought right there.
Well, the nice thing about the T-Flight is that you can separate it, and you can actually move the throttle to one side and the stick to the other side of your desk.
Oh, you can separate it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Well, not the one we're looking at, not the cheap one.
Yeah, that's. The
Oh yes, you can actually. You can.
Yep.
Oh wait, I'm actually looking. Oh
Well,
wait,
geez, add to cart. Thank you very much.
40 euros.
Hello and welcome to Elite Dangerous Reporter, where we'll be spending this entire episode talking about flight sticks and our obsessions.
Anyway,
I want to do a space game podcast called Geeks in Space and talk about Elite and Kerbal and stuff like that.
You're hired. Let's do it.
Okay.
Okay.
And the intro has to be Geeks in Space.
Exactly. That's what I'm thinking. Yes.
Oh man, that is too much awesome.
I think we have something there.
Yeah, write it down.
I'm writing it down.
Write that down.
Yeah, come on, Steve.
Okay.
But we're still in Bill's bit. Yeah.
Yes, I'm gonna move on. So Elite Dangerous, fun, so fun that I turned 16 again. That was great. Been playing some Guild Wars 2 as well, and I am so ready for the new season of Guild Wars 2. I feel like the game is just. It's been too long since there's been new content, and I'm ready for new things to happen. So November 4th, I think it's actually tomorrow that the new content is going to land.
Well,
hold
hold on. Harry, I have bad news.
What?
There is already a Geeks in Space show.
Well,
obviously, we just have to commandeer it.
It's ours now.
We're taking
You know what? You know how we make it unique? MMO Reporter presents Geeks in Space. Oh, that's too true.
that's the John Carpenter way. Look at his movie titles. It's never the thing. It's John Carpenter's The Thing.
Yeah.
Or it could be something else in space. We could be nerds in space.
I'm sure that's taken as well.
Distinguished gentlemen in space.
We should not actually be discussing probable show titles on an open channel.
Whoa. Yeah. You're right. Hold on. Harry, once again, you prove to be the wise voice on the podcast.
Which is scary.
I know. Usually it's Leonor.
We'll get someone to edit that. Just bleep it all. Make it sound dirty.
Well, I already have to bleep Harry. Thank you.
Also played World of Warcraft. I'm actually saving up my money to get the top end flight skill in World of Warcraft. I notice I'm flying slower than everyone else, and I just can't have that. So I'm working on that and having fun. Looking forward to the launch there. It does feel very anticlimactic right now. I thought with the last patch when they were adding content, there was going to be something significant, like something to really sink your teeth into prior to the expansion, but it was over super quick and just very it's not even suspense. I feel like I'm losing the joyous tension that you get when you're waiting for new content to drop, and I'm just like tapping my foot saying, okay, get on with it there, Blizzard. It's time. So it's time, Blizzard. Harry, it's time for you. What have you been doing this week?
Well, actually, I've played World of Warcraft, and I must say this, and I must say it with as much force as I can. World of Warcraft is still fun. Mm-hmm. It is a good game, and I'm starting to wonder if I'm not missing out by not playing more of it. But I have a problem, and Bill, I hope you can help me with this, because you are now our resident WoW person. I have two questions.
I'm here to help.
First, did you already do the level boost to the level 90?
Yes.
Right. So I've not yet boosted my character. I'm just messing around in the beta for now, just in the Warlords of Draenor beta. But in the live game, I've also started playing a couple of characters because I cannot decide what character to play. I want to do a new character. I have a level 82 priest, troll priest. I'm not gonna boost him to 90. That's just wasting a boost. I mean, I can get to him whenever. But I want to do a new character class, and I'm thinking, what should I play? I've tried shaman.
Holy cow.
I'm not crazy about paladins because they level very slowly at start.
Holy cow.
That's a paladin, Chris. You're
I
not
know.
paying attention.
I'm not at all. Holy cow.
I'm torn between a shaman and a mage.
I've always my main that I'm playing right now is a shaman, and I enjoy it. I feel like they've kind of taken away some of the joy that I used to have with it, because it used to be that when you played a shaman, you would lay down all four sticks. You'd have this pattern of sticks that you'd lay down that were just your awesome little friends that they didn't follow you anywhere, but they were so cool to just kind of thunk around you, and then you're a fully charged shaman. Now they're more designed to be like situational boosts. They all have cooldowns on them. Some of them are cooldowns up to like 5 minutes, so there's no expectation you're going to drop all your sticks in all your fights. So I was a little disappointed to see that, but I still like my shaman. Mages, one of my best friends, actually, when I was in my first pass with World of Warcraft, played a mage, and just the insane, if all you want to do is, if you want to get into a battleground and you just want to infuriate like 8 people, you make yourself an arcane mage and you go into where the fighting is thick and you just spam your point blank area of effect, and everybody dies. Like, now you die too, because I mean, people sneeze wrong and you die, but it's fun.
You're taking with them. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You're taking them with you.
It's a suicide pact.
Exactly. I always like playing a rogue, though. If I wasn't playing a shaman, I think I would be going back to my old undead rogue, because everybody hates a good rogue.
Yeah,
and actually, everybody hates a mediocre rogue. And even a bad rogue. Everyone hates a bad rogue, too.
So pretty much everybody hates rogues.
Well, the rogue in PvE is he has no function.
Well,
he saps mobs, but the mage can also just sheep him.
Yeah, I don't know. I always found that I was really well off as far as DPS goes on my rogue. If you're doing raiding or even dungeon runs, it's right there, and the way the mechanics of, like, because World of Warcraft is more of a, I find like their dungeon running and their epic fights are a little bit more of a plant your feet and run through your rotation kind of thing. Being a melee character in a dungeon is not as big a deal as, say, I don't know, like Guild Wars 2, for example. Guild Wars 2, for example, having your range and keeping your range is very important on a lot of boss fights. In World of Warcraft, the boss fights are kind of designed around the fact that if you're a range character, you kind of have to plant your feet and sit still in one spot for a while. And same with if you're a melee character. You can't really afford to be dancing around and moving in intricate circles with quick reaction times. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to use your abilities. So I don't mind melee DPS as much as I minded in other games in World of Warcraft.
I would go shaman, Harry, just because mage is mage, right? It's overdone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
so
that's what I was thinking of.
I would do shaman.
No. Now the other option,
ahead.
if you're absolutely torn and you can't make a decision about anything, you play a druid. Because then you're everything.
I tried that, but I hate the fact that you never see your gear. Because 70% of the time you're walking around as one of your animal shapes. And that's cool the first 5 minutes, but at a certain point I just want to see the gear I got.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm playing this game for the gear, and I'm just walking around like a freaking furry.
Exactly. I feel for you, Harry. Yeah. I agree with you wholeheartedly on that one.
One point that WoW has is gaining gear.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, but the second question is, I think I missed something when I was playing the beta. You must have had some experience with this. I know that if you boost your character to level 90, you will start out with only 1 or 2 skills. That you're basically reset and you have to regain your skills.
Mm-hmm.
And you can only do that, but you can only do that in the Blasted Lands quest line, right? It's not possible to do that by questing anywhere else.
You get ported there.
Correct.
Yeah, you show up with your new gear and just a couple skills and a quest line to walk you through getting all your skills back.
Okay, that's something I did wrong in the beta because I boosted the character there on the title screen, as betas allow you to do unlimited amount of times. And you go to the Blasted Lands, and I thought, okay, I'm in the Blasted Lands. Now I have to go to the Dark Portal, and I have to go to the world to the Draenor, the new Draenor area. So I go there, and I'm there, and I'm playing there for at least 2 levels. I'm level 92 in the beta, but I still have 2 skills. Because I apparently just skipped over the whole thing that I have to do. And now you kind of confirm it. There is this special quest line in the Blasted Lands that you have to follow. I didn't follow it. So if I could keep playing like this, I'll probably be at level 100 rating in the beta with 2 skills.
With 2 skills.
See, that would be glorious. Somebody's got to do that. Just to stream it and be that guy in the dungeon where all you have is 2 skills. And everybody's yelling at you. And
wondering if that, you should use this and this skill. I don't have it. How can you not have it? You're level 100.
When I did my first 90 boost, it took me 20 minutes, and for the first 20 minutes I was actually thinking, wow, they really did do a lot of skill compression here.
But I do like the fact that the weird thing is, it's almost like you're just starting over and you are skipping so much of the game, just getting, and it doesn't bother me at all. I like the fact that I'm only 10 levels away from max level, and I have 10 levels of questing, which is exactly the amount of time you want to have in World of Warcraft. 10 levels, some nice stories, some nice set pieces, and then you go into the whole end game thing, which is something I'm looking forward to because this is attainable. If I'm messing with characters at level 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm just imagining the entire track up to level 90, even though they streamlined it to death almost, it's still, I think, a good 20 to 30 hour investment to get your character up to speed.
Yeah. I'm really looking forward to going through with our static group that Bill and I are planning for the Draenor launch, which is going to be fun.
I'll move along quickly now because I have 2 more games I'd like to mention. The first is Elite Dangerous, which I also played. I'm thoroughly enjoying it when it works. It's buggy as hell. It really is buggy as hell. I've had
Will you be my friend, Harry?
In space, no one can find their friends. It's I'm playing with I will be your friend, Chris. First, I will not keep you in suspense. You are my friend.
You're not going to ditch me again like another space game that we played together, are you?
You ditched me. You quit playing. Okay, Elite Dangerous. I was playing with another friend of mine, and he was very excited to get into Elite Dangerous. He really wanted. It was his first space game. He's like, "Wow, I'm gonna play Elite Dangerous." His name is Bas, good friend, nice guy, and I had to teach him how to land, just like I apparently. But I used to do tech support a long time ago, and I'm still doing it, but I'm doing it in space. Damn it. Okay, so but. He did his tutorial and he didn't know how to land until I instructed him, gave him the same advice I gave Bill just now. And then we wanted to play together. And Elite Dangerous has its option to start a group and play with friends. So you have a friends list, you can add friends, and apparently the game is supposed to match you up. What I didn't know at first, I thought Elite Dangerous was a space open world MMO where everybody was sharing the same universe. I knew that other players were in my universe because I've seen other players. I've seen other commanders flying around. What I did not see was my friend when we were circling a space station, trying to find each other on the dark side of a planet. I actually I fired in space just to get his attention, which gave me a fine because if you fire outside of a space station, they give you a fine. We could not find each other at all. And after a whole lot of messing around, starting a private group, exiting the game, entering the game, exiting again, getting into it again, we finally managed to find each other in space. And the whole grouping system is absolutely not finished right now. It's a bloody mess.
Does it work like, I don't know if you know the answer to this, but does it work like the Destiny system where just random people will go into your world?
Yes, that's it. That's what it is right now. And apparently you can group, and there are on paper. I'm saying on paper because it doesn't work flawlessly yet. On paper, you have 3 modes of play. You have open play where you can just meet about anybody. It's kind of layered, just like Destiny, just like Guild Wars 2, or there are layers that people can be in. That's the open play. The second is group play, where you can be in the same layered world, but your friends should be matched to you. So if you are with friends or you are in a group, you find each other easily, if you're in the same system, obviously. And the third option is, there's 4 options. The third option is only your groups. So basically, it's like running your own server, and only your friends can be met in space. And the 5th option is solo play, and you will never run into other players ever. And that's it. On paper, it's a fine system because you can have, for example, the MMO reporter universe could exist where everybody who is our friend, let's say we have 50 or 60 people who all play Elite Dangerous in the perfect world, we could all just share this universe and nobody else could play with us.
That so we create our own server?
Kind of, yeah.
Like, this is really, I'm sorry, I don't know if I'm sounding dumb, but it's really confusing for me to understand. We can set up this game, I think is the way they call it. They don't call it a server. It's like setting up a game in Battlefield or something, right?
It's more like a filtering service. You can only if you have, let's say, we have a group of 10 people, then only those 10 people will be visible to us, and their interactions will be seen, and nobody else will show up ever in space.
So if all 60 of us in the MMO reporter universe were online at the same time, could we be in the same game?
Yes,
shooting at the same station.
I'm not sure if, I think there is a limit to how many people can be in a system at the same time, but I'm not sure about that.
But we could totally create our own ecosystem, our own world, our own whatever, right?
Yes.
Hell yes. I'm in.
So,
anybody else?
Well, I'm playing already.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying it's all these things are very annoying, as is the fact that we're now at beta 3 and I'm playing since alpha actually, and every beta they do a wipe, and this latest wipe they only wiped the ships, they didn't wipe your cash, which was good. So I still have some money left, but they are going to wipe again, and one of the big problems I have with that, Elite Dangerous is a game with a long goal. You want to amass wealth by doing whatever. That's the point. You get new ships, new weapons, new equipment to do the things you want to do. But unlike EVE Online, which is my final game on the list, I know that everything that I'm building now, my little space empire, will evaporate when they relaunch the game. So I find it very difficult to motivate myself to actually get into a trading grind or to do some long-range exploration, just to know that everything I'm doing is going to disappear in a few weeks. So that keeps me from playing it more than I actually should be playing it.
Okay, Harry, I'm going to convince you to get that throttle and that Thrustmaster even more. The throttle, there's a rocker on the front side of it that I bet you could map as your left and right thrust or your up and down thrust.
I was already convinced. I've already bought it. But it's going to go to release at some point. Finally, I have a little EVE story to share. I'm very happy about this little event. I bought one of the more expensive ships I've ever bought, which is a Stradios. It's one of the games that was released during the 2 expansions ago. It's a very nice exploration vessel. It's a cruiser, so it's a step up from the starting frigate size. And it was about 270 million ISK, and I had to fit it, so all in all, I paid about 450 million ISK for it, which is about half a month of subscription, if you would convert it to game time, which is a very expensive ship. And I've had some experience flying around in low security space, finding treasure, and this new ship is actually capable of fighting the exploration contact then that has enemies in them. So you find a spot in space, and enemies spawn, and you kill them and you salvage them, and you have a lot of fun with that. In low sec, so it's dangerous. Other players are flying around. I thought those other players will not be a big problem because I have this new ship and I'm invincible. I am fantastically strong. I have a bay full of drones. I have the best weapons that I could buy. I have this super ship. Nobody can freaking touch me. 6 ships warped in at the exact same moment that I was losing my shield to the NPC ships. They opened fire. They warp jammed me. I couldn't jump away. All I could do was stare at my screen in disbelief. My hands in the air, screaming like, "No!" This was 3 days after I invested 450 million ISK into the ship, and it just blew up.
Tell me you had insurance.
You could only insure it so you could get back 10 million. Because they insure it for the material value, not for the actual market value.
Oh, no.
It was the most horrible thing, and it was the most amazing thing, because the only reason exploration in low-sec is fun is because of the threat of this happening. If this doesn't happen, the game is boring as crap.
You just reinforced my lack of desire to play Eve.
I will tell you this, though. This happens, and I'm staring at the screen, and I'm typing in local chat. I'm botted, but I'm typing in local chat in my pod. I'm not dead, actually. I'm saying, "Oh, damn it! I had this ship for 3 days. This really sucks." And those pirates, well, yeah. And I say, I'm not angry. It doesn't matter. I mean, hey, that's the game. I knew that I was going into dangerous space, so yeah, have fun. I mean, you got me. Good job. Which I mean, by the way, because that is the game. I'm not going to get angry about somebody blowing up my internet spaceship. I mean, it's frustrating, but it's not. I don't have a grudge.
Yeah.
So I type this, and immediately I get an invitation from the guys who killed me to join their corporation.
Awesome.
He says, like, I'm running actually a PvP. He says, I'm running a PvP school, and every Friday you can join in. You just fly a little ship to our gathering point, and we do the roaming, and then you will be the aggressor, and maybe it's fun. And if you want to, just join us because you showed you have the correct attitude. I said, what do you mean? Well, you don't get angry. And,
yeah.
That's Eve. They will defecate in your face and step on your corpse. But they're not dicks about it. They're still good people.
Oh, man. I still have no desire to play Eve, even with all the good people.
Chris, what did you play?
I played some Elite Dangerous. I still have yet to get the friends system to work at all. I haven't been able to invite anyone. It tells me everyone, their name does not exist.
Do you type their full name? Because if their name, for example, is Backer12345, you have to actually type Backer space #12345. You cannot type the part of the name. You have to type the exact name they have.
Leonor told me his name was Leonor. I typed in Leonor. I haven't even figured out how to make my name, to be blunt. Like,
you have to log in.
Like, is it your name through your account?
I will give you a link for that. God damn it! I'm doing tech support again. I hate doing tech support.
Did you try logging in again?
Shut up. Other than that, I have some great visions of what Elite Dangerous could be. Wing Commander Privateer jumps to mind, and the ungodly amount of hours that I spent in that game in my teenage years. And how many times I've wanted to go back.
I could totally see this game eating up a ton of time, even if it's not as awesome as I hope it's going to be, which is actually a pretty high bar. This is just going to it's going to be like Civ. It's just going to be a time eater. It's going to be 4 a.m. and I'm going to not even know what happened.
Yep. Yeah, I've got some really cool ideas for some videos that we could make and stuff like that, just running through my head. It could be a lot of fun playing this game. I also had, it reminded me of this, an experience I had in Rift reminded me of your discussion, Bill and Harry, about WoW, because I went in and I've been leveling through the new Nightmare Tide expansion, and I went and we had a big sort of zone event final boss come into the area. So I went and fought that, joined the raid group, and super easy to do that. and as much fun as I remembered, but playing a rogue and a ranged rogue, I just sat back and watched, and I zoomed the camera out as much as I could, and just, the 50 of us around this boss were just bombarding it, maybe 3-4 people in at melee range. And it was just so cool to see all of that firepower go up against the boss. So I really enjoyed that. And, excuse
so
me.
Exciting.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And still really enjoying the expansion. Although, Bill, you had mentioned about sort of the quality of water content and people enjoying the underwater content when we recorded for Extra Life. Mm-hmm. And I went through an underwater cave system, and I just thought, wow, Seleni's not playing through this with me, and she made the right choice, because this underwater cave system, I didn't have too much of a problem going through it, but I without bragging, I'm pretty good at finding my way around maps and stuff like that in game. Mm-hmm. That's one of my strengths. There's plenty of other things that I suck at.
I will back that up.
Yeah, so I made my way through this tunnel system, no problem, but it was just a whole bunch of underwater tunnels with no idea of where you were supposed to go, and I just managed to make my way through it. I could imagine so many people trying to get through that and just stopping, just not playing, because that can be frustrating. To top it off, you're underwater, which makes it worse. So that was not the highlight of the Rift expansion, although the rest of it is very, very good.
Is that underwater part? Is that comparable to the World of Warcraft underwater bits, that you're basically floating, but you don't have a breath meter running down? Or something?
It's like Guild Wars 2. I'd compare it more to Guild Wars 2. It's better than WoW. You just are controlled a little bit better. The lighting is better.
Because I went back and it doesn't look as good as I remembered. Even though they updated the graphics, the underwater bits in WoW look kind of hokey.
Yeah,
it's like you're swimming in one of those aquariums.
If you picked the one zone for Cataclysm, you ended up underwater for a long time. That was not fun. Yeah. I actually quit that character at that bit and never.
That's where my priest is stuck at level 82. I'm not enjoying that bit at all.
No,
even though there is a mob called Nos that you have to kill, which is a shark.
Never ended up making it to land. More Shadows of Mordor still. I don't know if it was you, Bill, but somebody avenged my death the other day while I was playing. Thank you if it was you.
I wish I could take credit for it.
Wasn't me either.
I am to the point now where it's almost cheesy the way I get through some of the fights, because I get a little bit of range between me and a guy, and I can do what's called branding an Uruk, which puts them under my control. And so what I'll do is I'll jump stun through a whole bunch of Uruks, run away, turn around, get one on my side, and then keep going until the majority is on my side, and then I kill them. And I'm currently in a fight where that's not working, because I'm fighting about 5 captains. And they're that many altogether, plus they're, 15 or 20 Uruks each. It's a little tough, I gotta say. So I'm glad that they have this counter cheese tactic, because it was getting a little ridiculous how I was able to do that.
Still a fun mechanic.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Really cool to do, and very, very busy as you get all the different powers and you have to be on top of things. I still cannot recommend that game enough. Shadows of Mordor is just absolutely fantastic. Yeah. And then I've been jumping back into Marvel Heroes. They've released a couple of heroes that I've really been interested in the last little while. Rogue, who had that power steal mechanic, which was really cool. And then Nova, which was not, was more of a personal favorite than any sort of amazing power set or anything like that. Plays similar, again, not exactly like, but similar to Iron Man in Marvel Heroes. I went the ranged route. Fun, but not something to write home about. But I think pretty soon I'll be jumping back in to do Juggernaut, which we talked about last week. They are finally bringing in Juggernaut, and the way he works is that instead of, like all the other heroes in the game, having a mana pool, for lack of a better term, focus that you draw upon, he builds up momentum as he goes. because don't forget, he's the Juggernaut, bitch. And so he builds up momentum, and then he spends that momentum on powers that he's built up. So he builds it up by running and fighting and going and not stopping. When you stop gaining momentum. And I don't know if you drop it yet. I haven't played him yet. I don't know if you drop momentum, but I thought that was so good for the character. They're doing such a great job of some of these iconic, different superheroes, of making them play uniquely to keep their player base involved. So if you have played Marvel Heroes and some of these heroes sound interesting, jump back in because, spend a couple bucks, get the hero. You'll probably enjoy the different play mechanics that they've got. And they've really streamlined the leveling experience, so that's good. You get more XP. And plus you get so many boosts. Good. My inventory is constantly filled with boosts. I always get the full inventory thing when I'm out playing. It's kind of embarrassing in the videos.
If you're playing a superhero, you want to have the superpowers. You don't want to have to play too long to get something cool to do.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah.
Yeah. No, it's really, really cool. So that's been it. That's what's been keeping us busy. Excuse me. I'm really yawning a lot tonight. I apologize.
It's boring. We know. We are boring you.
You are boring, but the content is not. It's just been a busy weekend. All right, so let's get into things here and move right along to the news.
That was a good musical choice, by the way. Yeah.
Every once in a while I come up with one.
We barely heard anything about this. Barely. Sorry.
Barely.
Yeah, well, there is a new update for LOTRO on the horizon, update 15, and it's actually kind of expansion-y in the sense that it contains a new race and class for us to play, which is the Beorning. It sounds like you're ordering something from IKEA. And it's the man bear pig of LOTRO. How else can I say? You are basically
drop the pig part, and I think you're pretty awesome.
You are actually a guy who transforms into a bear, and I have heard some lore fans not too happy about this. I don't care. I think this is not. If it's fun, it's fun. It's the only reason for something to be in the game is if it's fun. So I'm very curious about this. No, there isn't that much PR about this actually, which I'm surprised about.
Yeah, I am too. It seems like it's a lot of fun to play the class. I know I'll be jumping back in to give it a try, but it's surprising. And the only place, like, we haven't gotten the emails that we usually get from Turbine about, patch coming November 5th, all that sort of stuff. The only place we can find it is on Massively, and this is from Justin Sip, who heard it on the press stream, which we weren't able to attend. We were booked that day, so it's a little bit odd. It feels different.
Mm-hmm. I have a big problem with the. I'll let you go on in a second, Bill. But I just have to get this in. 100 levels of LOTRO is a lot, and you have to imagine going through all the old Shadows of Angmar content, going to Angmar actually, then going through Moria, which is a huge area in itself, then going through. I mean, I'm not even max level, and I have a pretty high level too. The idea of going through the entire game with a new class is too daunting for me to even contemplate.
I was actually just having this chat with Asani before the show today, and both of us, neither of us have actually played in probably about a month now, and we're both having these kind of like side moments while we're at a quiet moment at work or something like that, where we're thinking about old zones in LOTRO, like going through the marshes around Bree and going through Lothlorien and that kind of thing, and that's the fun stuff. Like that's what's is appealing and interesting about LOTRO to the two of us anyway. Not so much burning through the new content or hitting level 100 or anything like that. So I could actually see rolling up a new level 1 tune and kind of just touring my way through the old nostalgia-filled areas of LOTRO, and I think that could actually be a cool thing. Like LOTRO has really reached that stage now where there's actual nostalgia in the game itself. There's like generations of players now.
Yeah,
the
that's
people
true.
who played at the beginning are different than the ones that are picking it up now so that they can play the man bear.
Yeah, and I do have some video playing for those watching live or on Twitch. It looks pretty cool, but see, I kind of disagree with you, Bill, in that I don't think I would find that very fun. Going back through that stuff, some of it would be fun. Shire is always fun, but some of it, like North Downs, are just, no matter how many times I've gone through, are a slog, and I die down in it's that mid-30s grind, and then there's Moria as well, which now I've taken to just grinding through skirmishes and skipping Moria because I just can't. As
I've
much
done
as
Moria twice, and twice is enough.
Yeah, and I'm done with that stuff. I like the new content. I like all that stuff. I'd like to try the new class, but I have no desire to go through some of that stuff again.
Yeah, no, I could see deliberately kind of petering out around level 70 or so, because that's actually the stuff that I want to do. Like once I get to level 70, the newer areas, the mounted combat type stuff, that's where I'm actually starting to lose interest.
Yeah.
Whereas going through the old content, like even Moria is appealing to a degree.
Ugh. Yeah, I could go through mounted, like all the Rohan stuff. I could do that again and again. I like that.
I actually, from that, I think the game jumped the shark for me once they introduced mounted combat, because it was such a big thing that was on the forums for ages, for years. People were clamoring for mounted combat. I never actually saw the appeal, and once they actually introduced it, I thought, yeah, this is what I was afraid of. It's just clumsy.
Well,
and I don't. From the moment you get to Rohan, the game becomes so generic and so bland, and it loses its flair or something. I have had it. I've tried it again and again, and I'm just not enjoying those newer parts as much as I did the older parts.
I do enjoy mounted combat. I actually find it quite a lot of fun, and I challenge you to find a better rubber band simulator anywhere on the internet.
Have you ever played all those driving games on the PlayStation? Or, for example, Mario Kart? Fantastic rubber banding.
Yeah, no, LOTRO does better.
The mounted combat is brilliant for having a faster horse. And if they just stopped there, then they probably would have...
I like running around and the different skills, and I enjoy it. I'm not saying it's great. I'm saying I enjoy it.
It's floaty. You don't connect. You don't have this oomph of speed and hitting something. It's just you're waving your little stick around and numbers pop up from another horse just a few meters away. It doesn't feel like you're clashing. And if you're standing toe to toe, it doesn't matter, because it's turn-based combat. But once you're actually in an arcade-like environment, it becomes glaringly obvious that you're not fighting, but you're exchanging stats.
Yeah, I disagree.
There's a big disconnect between your character and what actually is happening in combat when you're in mounted combat. I think, Harry, you hit it on the head there. It took 2 seconds before I saw it hit, but you did hit it. It is. You don't feel like you're affecting anything. Like there's a start to the battle, stuff sort of happens, and you sort of affect it, but you can never really tell because you have to wait for the internet to catch up with itself, and then at the end, something's dead. Not to mention, maybe it's fixed now, or maybe they kind of tightened it up a bit, but it was so overpowered. I could solo anything on a horse.
Well, I think we're going to have to agree to disagree because I enjoyed it.
I do not agree to that.
No, I disagree with that too.
There you go. I do want to mention, too, that you do get to go to Gondor, finally. We're getting closer and closer to the White City here. So, pretty cool. All right, moving on to our next story. I want to talk a little bit about Trove. Trove is going into open beta on November 5th, which is pretty exciting. I'm looking forward to it because I have had a lot of fun in Trove. I think that the game itself has been really, really well designed. It's really, really interesting. Just the way everything is set up in the game, and it takes something a little bit different out of the whole Minecraft thing by adding sort of an adventure element in classes to it. I wish that it was. This is one of the ones high on my list of I wish I had more time. Absolutely. As I show you the video of the TARDIS that someone made in game, the giant TARDIS.
Yeah, I actually watched your gameplay video there, Chris, and it's a very shiny looking game, for lack of a better word, not in terms of like lens flares or anything like that, but the colors are vivid, the gameplay is vivid, the obviously the buildings and the constructs that people are coming back, the game just leaps out at you and has a very engaging, colorful look to it. So it's like even more so. I mean, the obvious Minecraft comparisons are there, and I mean certainly visually Trove really it has that more of a leap than Minecraft ever did.
It did make me angry, though, the video, because you have this TARDIS over there, and it says TARDIS on the top. The TARDIS does not have... What does it say at the top of the TARDIS?
Police box.
Exactly. And it doesn't say TARDIS, and it does most definitely not say TAR on one side and this on the next.
Yeah. If you have to tell everyone it's a TARDIS, then you need to redesign it. Time for a redesign.
And here's the cool thing, though. That is, I forget the term for it now because it's been a while since I played Trove, but that is someone's little, like, homestead, for lack of a better word.
It's 15 stories high.
It's awesome.
The idea of the TARDIS is that it is bigger on the inside, not that it looks like the freaking Statue of Liberty.
Have you been inside that TARDIS? Do you know that it's not bigger on the inside? There you go. But what it is when you go out and adventure, you'll have these little plots that you can call your little homestead to. And so everywhere in the little adventure zones, people can call their homesteads. And so they can call the TARDIS up wherever they want, which fits really well. I think that's really cool. So yeah, open beta, no wipes from closed beta, and a new class, Candy Barbarian, is coming, quote-unquote, soon. So go check it out if you're into some Trove, into some building and adventuring. Having to adventure to build. It's like survival mode, but more. With guns.
This is the exact same thing that Landmark is supposed to be. Landmark has fallen off my radar, actually.
This is well, Landmark's done a lot with the combat updates, and they're actually building a full MMO game. I think they're trying to go even more MMO than this is. This is I'd say 50-50 building to game, whereas I think Landmark is trying to make itself a 95% MMO with that 5% of building being so robust that it could take up 100% of your game. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I still don't understand what's going to be the difference between Landmark and I guess the big thing about Landmark is that it is genre agnostic. It has no specific genre.
You mean the difference
Landmark
with EverQuest
and
Next?
EverQuest Next, yeah.
Well, the difference is that EverQuest Next is actually the big part of it is designed by the designers. It's very much a world like I want to say Norath. I'm mixing up my fantasy worlds. Norath is EverQuest, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And I get the description and stuff like that, but the adaptive AI or whatever they're calling it is not going to be in Landmark, and it's going to be much more Eve-ish in its open worldness but it's going to have the classes and it's going to have the combat, and so anyways, it's interesting. So there you go, Trove open beta. Go check it out. It is starting on November 5th.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, moving on, Wildstar. It's our weekly Wildstar announcement. Wildstar is opening up free character transfers between the two worlds that they've got now, or the two mega servers they've got now. When Wildstar did their mega server merge, they decided to keep two different realms, like a PvP realm and a PvE realm. So now they've kind of taken it to the next step, and they've allowed you to bounce back and forth between PvE and PvP pretty much as you want without very many restrictions. There's a couple in there in that you can't do it more than every 7 days. You can't do it if you've got mail pending, or if you're a guild leader or an arena team or anything like that. So you have to kind of get your ducks in a row before you're jumping back and forth, but it's there. So you can do that bouncing and back and forth. Now, what this kind of reminded me of was the huge flame wars that we used to get at Asheron's Call between Darktide and regular servers. Darktide was the PvP realm in Asheron's Call. And there was a period of time there where you could actually transfer characters to Darktide, if I remember correctly, or if it wasn't capable, it was something they were looking at adding. And the hue and cry and rage that came out of that was that many of the hardcore PvPers were really concerned that people would just take the nice fuzzy happy ride up to max level on a PvE server, and then bring that leveled up character into the PvP realm and have an unfair advantage that they were able to A, level so easily, and B, get semi-decent gear without the danger of a PvP environment. But then they come and invade the PvP environment anyway, where the real hardcore players had earned their stuff the hard way. So I don't know. Do you think, Chris, like, you've probably played Wildstar more than anyone else on the show here, do you think that's an issue with Wildstar?
I think it's an issue with the community. I don't think it's an issue with the game, but I'm not a PvPer, so I that's always in every game the argument against doing PvE to PvP transfers. And it will always be forevermore as long as there are PvE and PvP servers. They did have a huge exodus off of the EU PvP server, though. And so they might be trying to build the community back up. And the community has been doing its best on EU and North American servers to have big PvP open world events in the game, and they've been making their rounds on YouTube and Reddit, and really kind of building steam, these big huge battles, right? And so this could be an opportunity after this to have some players come back into the PvP fold and have a healthy server population, so that things aren't dying over in the EU PvP. I think there wasn't the same mass exodus from the North American PvP.
Maybe people just don't want open PvP servers anymore.
Could very well be. Could very well be. All right, let's move from there to talk about our sponsor, GoDaddy. GoDaddy, of course, has been our web hosting provider for the past 4 or 5 years. We've been with them quite a long time. They've been a sponsor a couple times for us, and they are back with a new offer. You can get 30% off your entire purchase by using the coupon code MMO30 when you do your hosting or domain purchase or whatever you want to. You can use this code and you will get 30% off. Go check them out. We are incredibly satisfied with the service that they provide, as shows by the fact that we stay with them even when they're not our sponsor. So GoDaddy, go check them out. MMO30 to get 30% off your next purchase. Harry, we've got some stuff coming out of Australia. Put some shrimp on the Barbie. No, God, I'm so sorry, Australia. I'm just accept my apology. I'm sorry.
Well, it was the best Canadian accent you ever did.
Shut up.
Okay, Star Citizen is this very big and impressive game from Chris Roberts, who was the guy behind Wing Commander. I don't have to explain this. Most people know what Star Citizen is, right? This is a big space shooter game where you fly big ships in an open universe and do whatever. And one of the big things that they showed at PAX Australia is gameplay from the actual first-person shooter combat, which means the gameplay outside of your ship. So looking at it, it looks like... I'm not saying this in any negative sort of way, but it looks like a standard shooter. It looks like something like Call of Duty or Killzone, which is pretty cool if you imagine that you have battles on the scale of ship versus ships and fleet battles, but also the small, almost intimate stuff of entering a base and taking out enemies one by one, which is a very cool concept. Plus, and this is something that kind of bothers me. It includes zero-G combat. And in the video, there's one thing that I hate about zero-G combat in a game like this, is that you still have a sense of up and down. You shouldn't.
True.
If I'm thinking of zero-G combat, I'm thinking of the horrifying nausea that I experienced by playing Descent and Descent 2.
Oh my God, yes.
And that was zero-G combat. And this, and if there's one thing that gets me mad, it's physics that's not working as physics. For example, gravity boots. Gravity boots is a thing that Star Trek and other science fiction producers invented because they couldn't be asked to get the freaking people to float. So they just flip a switch and they have freaking gravity boots. This is not a thing.
See,
well, apparently it is.
Our podcaster knowledge of physics is such that magnets are kind of always on. That's what they do. And I mean, I sort of understand the concept of an electromagnet. So maybe if you had a super powered boot that you could flip a switch on that would turn the magnet into an electromagnet, maybe that would be a gravity boot.
Where does it get the power, sir? Where does it get the power?
That's exactly it. That seems like
this is the future. Battery power, I'm sure, has far exceeded what we have today.
Nuclear double A's.
Correct.
If you generate the amount of power to be actually drawn 20, 30, 40 feet back to a metal ship hull, you need a lot of power. The heat alone would fry your feet in seconds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm agreeing with you entirely. It was a bit cheesy. I was sort of hoping to see the room start to rotate as people were floating around in there too.
It does a little bit. There's a little bit of roll.
It looks like everybody's just floating like they're jetpacks on Earth. This is not zero-G. Zero-G means no up and down. Have you ever read Ender's Game, the book? I'm not talking about the movie. The book actually goes into that entire concept. Big plot point is when Ender and his team figure out how to handle the absence of up and down. This is what zero-G means. There is no up and down.
The gate is down.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yep. I'm looking forward to this simply for the fact that they have said that you're going to be able to be sort of all staged on one ship and then forcefully board another ship and make your way into that ship and fight on that ship and take it over.
It's still cool, though. I mean, it's a fantastic idea. I mean, sorry to rant about this, but if you're talking about a science fiction game that does so many things to look real, and then you just go gamey on my ass, it's just it's kind of. But we have to realize that the game is far from finished, and what we're seeing now. I would be very surprised if we see actual first-person combat in the release version of the game. I don't think Star Citizen is that much further along than Elite Dangerous in that regard. Elite Dangerous will have all these things as well. They've just not shown it yet. All the hooks are in place. It's actually designed in such a way, Elite Dangerous, that the scale is such that you can walk around the stations, you can actually land on planets. They've just not implemented it yet because they want to do right.
Walking in stations, if only Eve would come up with that. Killer feature.
I will talk to them about this. I will pass on your suggestion.
With TV screens and couches you could sit on?
I will actually put this on the forum in your name.
We've made this.
I will
joke
link.
before.
I will link to you.
Yeah.
MMO reporter suggests.
We could do it like Jimmy Fallon's thank you cards.
Oh, you know what we should suggest actually is we should send an email.
Yeah.
Send an email over to 2K and say, Civ 5, and you know how it's so addictive and how everybody they dive into it and they can't stop playing.
Right.
Let's make that into an MMO.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Wait, they did.
No.
In Korea.
Oh. That explains all the Korean
moment.
text I see on the screen in front of me.
It looks horrible. Bill, tell us what's wrong with this.
It's for one, there's the gratuitous side boob on the main page. That's like strike one. You know that we're not exactly going for highbrow, epic gaming scenarios.
Here you go, folks, because I know you were wondering.
We went functional side boob, not gratuitous side boob.
For less than a second, you know exactly what we're dealing with here. So I fired it up. We'll have a link in the show notes to a great big 2-hour play session of Civilization Online. And as far as I can tell, the way the game is played is you're a guy and you run around and you either build stuff or fight stuff. So you're not. They've taken away most of what Civilization is, of driving an entire universe by being a superpower and guiding events and dealing with complex relationships with other nations and scientific advancements and all that kind of thing, and basically boiled it down to horsey ride wacky sword fight.
That's the bar quote.
That's what I saw in the video here.
Oh, here's the horsey part.
But it's, they've taken out that you're not actually playing a civilization, you're just playing a citizen.
Mm-hmm. You're the peon. You're the zug. You're
Job's done.
There's so much you could do here. Like if they actually mold this to the point where there are actual civilizations and you have a figurehead that's driving a civilization and sending orders and enabling their troops and promoting people and everything like that, you could build a really sophisticated guild nation-based game and you could do some pretty amazing things. I don't really see it happening here so much, though.
It looks like a Dark Age of Camelot clone, if I'm quite honest.
It is, and I mean that's not such a bad thing, but it's.
Don't call it Civ then.
I don't think it's even as good as Dark Age of Camelot, as far as from what I can see here. Other than the big battles, and you never know who you're going to be actually coming up against. Although if you look at the map, it should be fairly obvious. Anyway, I don't know. It's worth keeping an eye on. Like I said, it's a Korean MMO right now. It's I'm trying to figure out if it is actually going to come to America. I mean, the main page is in English, or primarily in English. So I'm assuming that they have a little bit of an English audience interest.
But if you want to play Civilization Online, you can actually just play Civilization Online.
Exactly. Yeah. So
I'm playing this with two friends, and we have this regular game. Well, semi-regular. Somebody keeps skipping on Sunday. I'm not angry. If you listen to this, show up.
That's the one where you're messing with them and being evil and ruthless, right? That same game.
That's what they're actually accusing me of, which is complete and utter lies. I've not fired a single shot in this.
Moving on.
Bill, did you get Beyond Earth already? I have it installed. I haven't played it yet, but I have it on my computer.
Oh, you're better than me then. I chickened out. I was playing. Well, it came out the same weekend as Extra Life, so I knew that it wasn't going to happen then. And then I made the mistake of reading reviews after Extra Life weekend was done, but before I actually bought the game. and I've chickened out a little bit. I almost feel like I want to wait for a patch or something like that, because there's so much sentiment that it's basically like rebooting Civ. So you're buying like vanilla Civ again instead of enjoying all the systems updates and that kind of thing that have come with Brave New World and Gods and Kings and everything like that. So
I've
I feel
pretty
bad.
positive things actually about it, but I'm still waiting to play it with my friends. So I've purposefully not started it yet because I don't want to have an unfair advantage. I'm starting the game right now.
Stay with us, Harry. Don't go down the rabbit hole quite yet. Stay with us.
As long as you're not being evil about it.
Don't go into the light.
Ahead of everyone else. No, it's still on my list. I may even keep an eye on open for it for a Christmas Steam sale or something like that. But yeah, I chickened out, and I feel bad because I was so pumped for this, and I've somehow unpumped myself.
That sounds painful.
Sometimes it's good to take some perspective and wait for some reviews, which is why I'm against the idea of pre-ordering.
Mm-hmm. I almost pre-ordered Beyond Earth 2. I was hovering over the buy button many times.
I'll let you know. Okay, I'll be your canary in the coal mine.
Please, yeah, I trust you, Harry. You will lead me to the salvation.
I can tell. Well, hey, we're both big Civ heads, so I mean, if I don't like it, you'll definitely know there's something uncivilized about civilization.
Ooh. All right, we got to move along, guys. We need to get this show done.
It's overdone by now.
It is. It's been going for. We spent a long time talking about what we've done, and that's my favorite part. So I'm happy that we did it. All right, want to talk about Patreon? Our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MMO Reporter. Hey, all of you who are our patrons, you are supporting us. You are making this happen. Thank you so much. Go check out patreon.com/MMO Reporter if you haven't yet. We are just about $12, $13 away from our song release, which happens at $100. So go check that out, please and thank you. Patreon.com/MMO Reporter. And of course, go to doghousesystems.com and use the coupon code MMO Reporter to double your RAM if you need a new computer. I know Carrie's happy with hers. Doghouse is where I'm going to go for my next system, so go check them out. Bill, if people want to get a hold of us, how would they do that?
They can head over to MMOreporter.com for the central hub of MMO Reporter and all of their brother and sister podcasts. You can head over to your favorite email client. Send an email to mmo.reporter@gmail.com. You can head over to our Facebook site and facebook.com/MMO Reporter and check us out there. You could tweet at any of the MMO reporters, either at MMO_reporter for Chris, at Harry Hall for Harry Hall, at Leonor for Guess Who Leonor, and at MMO Bill for yours truly. You can give us a call at 616-666-6778 or click the widget on the right side of MMOreporter.com and leave us a voicemail letting us know what you think about our extensive review of everything we played this game. I think it's actually, if you look at the list of games that everyone played, this is probably the fewest number of games that the MMO Reporter podcast has played in a week, but we still talked about it more than we have in probably 6 months. So
yep.
Let us know. Let us know what you think about that. Head on over to YouTube. Check out youtube.com/user/MMO Reporter Network to see all of our video, our streams, Chris's Trove stream, for example, which we talked about in the show. You can see that there, as well as all our PAX coverage and everything like that. And finally, you can go over to patreon.com/MMO Reporter, like Chris was just talking about, and support us if you want us to continue on rambling about the 9 games that we collectively played for the entire week.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Bill, for that and for a great show.
My pleasure. I'm excited. I'm ready to do another one. Let's go.
I'll think about it. Thanks, Harry, for, as always, pontificating so perfectly from on Phi?
Phi?
I don't know. It was 2 P's, and I was trying to think of a PH fed.
And then
Thank you very much.
An F. Okay, never mind. Hi. Hi, are we going to start now?
All right, welcome to the MMO Reporter Pod. No. Thanks,
oh, God,
Harry.
I'm tired. I'm so tired.
Good morning. You're just getting up, too. I was sick yesterday, so today, too. All right, Thanks, everybody, for coming out, hanging out with us. If you were in the live chat room, as always, it is an absolute blast to have you here and hang out with us as we record. Thanks to everyone who watches the shows on YouTube, on Twitch, anywhere that you watch them. And, of course, thanks to everyone who downloads the podcast week after week. We really appreciate it. We hope that you download it again next week. But most importantly, we hope to see you in game.
Don't forget about your ults you need to cherish. Each and every little character you've got, no matter what level they're at. Don't forget about your ults you need to cherish. Each and every.
Thanks for watching the video, everybody. Don't forget to check out all the other podcasts at MMOreporter.com or by clicking on any of the links here. And please check out our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MMOreporter. Thanks, everyone, and see you in game.